Well, here we are. Tom's bench is on my bench, and I've got a few coats of polyurethane again on it, on the panels where I got the raised panels in. And I'm ready to start working on the interior, the drawers and the doors. And but I'm in a predicament. I need a little more room on my bench to fabricate the doors, what have you, and the panels and whatnot. And I don't want to put this thing on the ground and work on the ground on it. So this little video here is something else I'm going to put on YouTube separate, but it's going to be part of the overall video for the bench. If you come up with a solution, it's not for everybody, but the whole idea is that I'm in a small space. And yet it's a pretty large object, and there's usually always some way you can work things, if you think about it a little bit. And the biggest advantage I have is because my bench is large. I'm used to working on big items, and I do large fabrications. Not all the time, but sometimes, and I like the availability of a large bench that does not move. I don't care what I do. I'll lean on a hammer on it, push on it. It does not move. It's solid. It kills me when I see some guys working on benches and everything's rattling and moving. So I'll just get into it. I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to let the cameras roll. Try to get as much good filming on it as I possibly can. And you'll see as I go along what I'm going to do. I thought of a way of giving myself some more room, and yet not having to take this off my bench. And so it's early. I already went to Home Depot and got some material. And one thing I'm going to say right off the bat is how I measure everything. I'm going to use a story pole. I don't think I'm going to be pulling out my tape one time. If I do, it'd be very rare. So it's just to show you how you can do better with a story pole and make less mistakes. And if you're measuring and all that fiddle around with it, with the tape or whatever, it's a simple little build, but yet it's considerable lumber involved because of the weight of this thing. I'm concerned about the weight and all the falling off. So, but the story pole is another good example for this video, and no plans to speak of. Just I got an idea in my head what I want to do, and you'll just see how it goes. And some of the things I'm going to introduce in this build, might be silly as unbelievable, because believe me, I could build this thing with 2x4s and my nail gun in like no time at all, really. It's kind of overbuilding what I'm building, but it's kind of like what I like to do, and yet the lumber can be reused later for something else, so I've gotten plans. So it's not like, I'm just, really, in some way people think I'm throwing money away, but then again, I like the methods, and it's going to work. So with that, I'll be quiet, and I'm going to put this on a Lazy Susan, turn it around to face me, and where the interior now is facing my bench here, where I'm going to be working and installing, and then I'll move it on this apparatus. So with that, I'm going to get to it, and that's it. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get something out of it, and get to work. Okay? it is. Simple, lazy Susan, huh? Get out. I mean, not much, but it does the job. It does the job. Okay. That's how we do it. top, minus 13 millimeters for the plywood. This is the dimension I want. Right there. I put a dot. So dot there. Small line. same. I'm glad. Different, we'd have a problem. Okay. You do the joist kind of in the middle. And all I did was pre-drill it. I don't want to bore you with watch me drill holes. Getting on her. Sheet it and that's it. Leaving me pretty solid. top. I don't have the heart to cut this, so I'm just going to put some 1-inch pins in here. It's just going to keep it from moving. This one might. That's plywood. I got the good side down. Couple of shots and let it go with that. That's all I'm going to do. I want to put one in. Now. That gives me a lot of room to work now. Gives me a lot of room to work. All that. All the bench I freed up. Got all this freed up. Get all this bordel out of here. Either. And that's pretty good. That's pretty good for my bench here. 2 hours work. Younger man tried to do it a lot less time, but I got all this now to make my drawers, my raised panels, and I've got my casework right here to install everything. Okay. door glides, and things like that. And man, I don't want to do this underground. So yeah, it cost me a few bucks for the material. The two panels, like I said, I got a good side down. I'm gonna use those for something else. I just got the little 1-inch pins in there. All this is keep it from moving. I'm not trying to hold it down. It'll be easier to take it out too. But no. And I got some other ideas for the 4x4s and 2x that I'm using it for. So even that's not junk. So no, I'm really pleased with this. That was a predicament, but when you think about it, you work something out every time. And again, the main thing is I'm in a small shop. And any of you guys that got a small shop can relate. And you know, again, I keep pumping this bench, but you know, it depends what you do, what kind of work you do. But man, what a benefit to have a big bench like this. You see, I'm lugging on this thing and moving, never move, never budge. And I got this big thing on top of it, never budge. One of the best things I ever did. I wish I'd have started this long ago, but I was so busy with playing golf and bowling, you know. I told my wife I wish I'd have not done any of that, and you know, just kept on doing, you know, my finish work. But anyways, I'm here now doing it. So I hope you get something out of this. Again, you know, my camera work isn't the best. I try to do what I could, but I did everything with this story pole. Everything with the story pole. And you saw everything fit. I mean, it's perfect. The only how I use my metric tape was to lay out the two cross tabs, you know, just to get a rough dimension of the overall, and then divide it by 3, and just approximate. It wouldn't really, you know, get not exactly center, but good enough. You know, I'm pretty even. But a story pole. I cut everything. It's level because, you know, again, it's level. How I checked it before. How I you know, measured the back legs and the front legs. And I'm flush with my bench, good enough to where I had no trouble moving this thing over. So, and again, look, I moved this thing over, it never budged. This thing never budged. And I don't even have any cross bracing. So I was gonna put some, another one bar was for, but I think, you know, I don't think I really made it. You know, so and it's not going to be moving. You know, that's all the movie's going to have right now, where it's at right now. After that, it's coming off. So I hope you enjoyed. Hope you got something out of it. And, you know, have a good day. And I hope you get to work in the shop. And if you do, as always, work safe. Have a good time. And don't use any putty. Okay? All right. Have a good time. Have a good day. And see you next one. Well, here's something that I didn't expect to happen. As I was getting ready to finish this video, I went ahead and put some edge banding on the end of these two panels. And I finished one right there where my hand is. And I got to think, you know, before I do the other one, this would be a good one to put on a video, because there's a lot of people probably don't know how to do this, you know, beginners for sure. And so I started recording, and then I didn't realize I was all done, so I'm talking away there. I didn't have one of my devices turned on for my audio. So this is the reason why I'm doing a voiceover now, to try to explain what happened, because there's no way I can redo it. And I think it's just too important, in a sense, for someone out there who hasn't done this before, because it can be screwed up so easy. These edge bandings comes in all types of wood. I happen to have maple on this. You can get them in oak, birch, walnut, I guess just about anything. And they iron on. And I've ran machines that do all this by itself, do all kinds of banding, you know, vinyl and everything. Machines that do it all. But when you're doing it by hand, and you've got to be careful, you know, usually you've got to take your iron and have a cloth or something because you can't just iron it and go. You kind of go little by little because it wants, you heat the glue, but you got to kind of rub it in there. Rub it in. Take your time and rub it in there. Machines, what they do, they have rollers. And as the glue and the heat goes on, it continues, but they're on rollers. They've got pressure keeping it on. So you got to basically do the same thing, and you have got to keep that thing as centered as best you can because they don't give you a whole lot extra on the ends. So you have a little overhang, hopefully, and then what you do to trim it, you see I've got a chisel there. You get your chisel or your iron out of your plane, and see how I'm holding it flat and on an angle, and you just kind of like take little strokes, and it comes off like butter. And I've seen people try to take a plane to it, or something sharp, and it just doesn't work, and especially if you use a heavy plywood, because these panels nowadays from China, they have like almost no veneer on them, and you go through the veneer so easy, so quick. You see how it's peeling off like that? Just holding it flat and taking those strokes. Once you do a lot of it, boy, you go, you just take big old strokes, and just because you have a feel for it now, it just comes right off like butter. See, look at that, one continuous strand, and that's a thin veneer. Look how it came off so nice. And again, you hold it flat, and you just take those strokes like that, and it just comes right off. And then you want to hit it with maybe some 400, 600, nothing heavy at all. Again, if you do, all you want to do is take that fine burr. You're talking about a veneer now, so it's not a whole lot on there, but you want to take that little fine, edge off it, which doesn't take much, and that's basically it, But I'm glad I kind of stopped and realized, hey, this would be a good thing to put up. I'm sure there's a lot of beginners have never you tried it. And look, that panel looks beautiful now. You don't see that ugly end grain. That panel just looks really, really nice. So it's worth investing in and taking the time to do it if you're into doing a lot of plywood. I personally don't like a whole lot of plywood. I don't like it because you can only screw sideways, and I like to be able to take a solid piece of wood and go end grain, whatever, but there's pros and cons. Plywood's more stable, etc. But I still, in this case, I had to, and it worked well. And the other thing I was saying is the story pole. I just can't say enough about it. One thing I saw in the video earlier that I wish I had done is when I was sheeting the backside there, I should have took that story pole and laid it on across the 2x4s up against my bench and marked where those 2x4s were. So when I laid the sheeting down, I could lay that on top of the sheeting and see exactly where the 2x4s were, so I could put nails wherever I want. But as it turned out, it's no big deal because I didn't want to put a lot of nails in this thing anyways. I only use like 1 inch, and it's only half inch, less than half inch thick. So it's a good plywood. The underside's beautiful, and I'm going to reuse it. But still, think about that. If you're doing some kind of sheeting or you're going to cover something, use that story pole to locate your 1x4s or your 2x4s, whatever you may be, going over, and you'll know exactly where, to nail. A story pole is just a really handy tool to learn how to use, and again, you lay out all your gaps. I want like 1/8 inch gaps on everything. It's a workbench. I'm not looking for, a dime thickness. I want, a decent gap, but something uniform. And the doors, fronts, and the doors are going to overlap these panels from left to right, and they'll be flush on the left and overlap on the right. And then the third bay, there's no overlapping necessary. It'll just be flush within the 4x and the other panel. So all I want to see is 1/8 inch reveal on every door and every drawer in that face. That's what I'm shooting for, and we'll see how it comes out. Other than that, that's it. Again, I just can't say enough about story pole. The more you get to using it and learn how to use it, it's just really a really good way to go. It's not for everything, but for a lot of things, especially cabinet work, it's just perfect. So with that, again, I'll say have a good time. Always work safe, and as always, don't use any putty. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.